another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at another film review, and this is our last banger of the year. 2023 has been an absolute hit for animated movies. Puss in Boots, Mutant Mayhem, and Across the Spider-Verse. So let's get into it. What I want to quickly talk about is, as much as this film is incredible, the way the artists were treated during the making of this movie was absolutely atrocious, and I want to just address this. Animators do so much good work. We've seen the amount of good work that they can do with all three of these films, but they are so underpaid and awfully treated. They're put into unrealistic working conditions. Some of them wasn't able to see their families for weeks, and it's just awful, and I don't agree with it. And Mutant Mayhem's artists were treated so well, and look at how well that film turned out. So we don't need to be overworking artists. We just need more time for the artists to work. That's it. You're setting unrealistic boundaries for the artists to fulfill, and it's biting you in the ass. But this film is such an incredible film that I do want to honour the artist's work. So, in an attempt to curb the spot, a scientist from harnessing the power of the multiverse, Miles Morales joins forces with Gwen Stacy. It's a pretty shitty synopsis on Google, but again, I do want to honour the artist's work because they did such a good job. Even though they were being so shittily treated and put into some horrific work hours, they still did an absolutely amazing job with this movie. So, the start of the film shows Gwen Stacy in her world, sort of missing Miles, missing all of her friends from Into the Spider-Verse, and Vulture appears through a multiversal wormhole from the sort of Renaissance papier-mâché world, destroying Gwen Stacy's world, going to probably disrupt a canon event, and this is where Miguel comes in and Jessica Drew to stop Vulture, so take him away and put him back in his own dimension. Then we swap over to Miles, who's just doing his normal stuff in Brooklyn. He's fighting the Spot, who is a pretty bad villain of the week. He's talking to his dad, and he wants to become a scientist in multiverse travel so he can go see his friends again. Gwen Stacy shows up in a portal with her wristwatch, which stops her from glitching, and she is actually there on a mission to stop the Spot from harnessing more multiversal power, but she doesn't manage to do that because she's distracted by Miles. So then Miles follows her as she's getting lectured by Jessica Drew. She goes through a portal and Miles follows her after she promises to never see him again. This obviously really upsets her due to the fact that he followed her and broke her trust. And they're now in Batin, which is Spider-Man India's world, or Pravita Bravaka. They have a new intro for him, and he's really cool. And they're following the Spot to their sort of laboratory where they're working on multiversal travel. And the Spot takes the energy, locks them out of the room. Obi-Wan comes in, introduces himself, breaks through. Absolute banger of an entrance. I fucking love this guy. Obi-Wan is my favourite Spider-Man, and he was my favourite Spider-Man before this film, so I was so excited for him to be in this one. He wasn't in the first one, and that kind of disappointed me, but he's in this one, and he's fucking incredible. But the Spot gets the power, he disappears, creates a black hole to destroy Ace Labs, and then Spider-Man, Spider-Man India, Obi-Wan, and Gwen all stop the sort of building from collapsing, saving everyone, and disrupting a canon event where Inspector Singh was supposed to die. They then go to the Spider Society, where Miles gets the tour. He meets up with Peter B. Parker. He meets Miguel, who gives him the lecture of, you gotta let your dad die, a Spot's gonna kill him in 3 to 5 days. That's what the algorithm predicts. Miles doesn't like that. He gets locked up. Hobie helps him break out, and then he's on the run from the other 1,000 of Spider people as Hobie just dips. Hobie quits and dips. Gwen and Peter B. Parker are trying to convince Miles that it's gonna be okay. Everyone's gone through it. Everyone's done it. It's gonna be fine. They're gonna help him through it. He has a team to back him up. But then Miguel catches up to them and stops them from obviously getting to Spider-Man. And Miles outsmarts all the Spider people, drawing all of them away on one of the trains so he can go back and use the machine and get home. But in this point, Miguel drops some heavy law stuff saying, you're the original anomaly, you shouldn't be Spider-Man. If you didn't get bit by that spider, your Peter would have died and then there wouldn't be a dimension without Spider-Man. But he gets to the machine, he gets sent home, but he actually goes to Earth 42 instead of his world of Earth 62. And due to this, this is the world without a Spider-Man, where all the villains are running wild, and his Uncle Aaron's still alive, but his dad died. And in this world, he became the Prowler. And it's got so many heavy hints back to the first one, but Gwen goes back to Spider-Man's world, or, Miles' real world, and she tries to find him, but he's not there. She stops Ben Reilly and sends him back to his world and breaks his watch. She talks to his parents, and she gathers up a crew using Hobie's new watch that he gave her, which he made from the parts which he stole from the building. And she puts together a crew of Spider-Ham, Penny Parker, Spider-Man Noir, Peter B. Parker, Spider-Man India, and Obi Brown, and then Spider-Bite as well. So our team has now doubled to 7, and that's where the film ends, with Prowler sort of holding Miles on a bag. That was long. It's a 2.5-hour movie. It's so incredible. It's now on Netflix. I have it on DVD, and I've watched it a good 5 times. It is such a good movie, and with every rewatch, I'm finding more and more and more hidden details. So, let's go through a couple of hidden details now. At the point where Prowler's tied up Miles to a punching bag that represents the first movie where he tied up Peter B. Parker to a punching bag, he also had purple and red colours at the start of Into the Spider-Verse, and in Across the Spider-Verse shows that he should have been a Prowler, not a Spider-Man. Then we also have loads of other hidden details which I don't want to get into, but I want to talk about the voice acting, because the voice acting is incredible. We have Kate Bishop as Gwen Stacy, which is also really cool. We have Oscar Isaac as Miguel O'Hara. He does such a good job there, and he is reprising his role from the first movie post-credit scene. We also have Miles' voice actor, which is awesome. Pravita Pravaka's voice actor as well, which is a taxi driver from Deadpool who does such a good job. He's so upbeat, happy, and positive. And this is before all the sort of bad stuff happened to Spider-Man, all the canon events. They also have a good wave of figures coming out, which I've already taken a look at and reviewed on the channel. But this film was so good. I've seen it in the cinemas twice. Once with my brother, once with my girlfriend. And it is such an incredible movie. It is peak fiction. We have a Lego world in here as well as like a little cameo, and a 14-year-old boy animated that or stop motion that, whatever. He's so talented and so cool. It's nice to see young talent getting brought into making movies as well. And Chef Kiss. It is such an incredible movie. I love Gwen Stacy's dimension and how her mood is like presented through colors and sound. Because she's a drummer, she's a musician, she's part of a band called the Mary Janes. She has music playing in the background, and that like sort of provides emotion. She has colors in the background, and there's conflict with the colors there. When she's facing off against her dad, we have two sides, and we can see the police side take over. And then at the end, when she hugs him, we see the dad's side take over. We also see the colors sort of take over everything, and the background sort of fades out and disappears due to the emotions being overwhelming. And when the weight is lifted off her shoulders, everything comes back. There is so many little details which get picked up on. We have the future dimension here, where it doesn't seem finished. When I was looking at Miguel O'Hara, he's sort of got like a 3D animated rig to him, and he's got them like 3D draw sketch lines around him. And I think that is so cool. I don't know why the future dimension is the one that looks so unfinished, but I still think it's really cool. Obviously, we have Miles' dimension. He's still got his animation style. We have running gags through the film, like his bleeding from his armpits. Obi Brown, I love his British accent. I love how he contradicts himself and how he is animated like Miles from the first film, where Miles is animated at lesser frames per second than the rest of the Spider-Verse people because he's not a fully fledged Spider-Man yet. This time, Hobie's everything is offbeat. It's all completely off. Like, his body moves at a different beat to his guitar, and his sort of page outline also moves to a different beat to him. And he always goes pink when he goes near Miles. It's just so cool. The little details, all the spider people in the background. With such a big cast, they seem to focus on a set few of Miles, Gwen, Peter B. Parker, Obi Brown, Spider-Man India, and Miguel O'Hara. Also Jessica Drew and Ben Reilly as Scarlet Spider. They're the handful that they seem to focus on the most, but every other Spider-Man does get like a cameo, a couple of minutes of screen time, like Lego Spider-Man, like Spectacular Spider-Man, which is one of my favourite Spider-Mans, and it's one that I grew up watching. I really loved that show. I would always get my granddad to tape it so that I could watch it. It was fucking incredible seeing him on screen. It was weird seeing him in 3D. I didn't really like how he was in 3D, but it was still cool seeing him. But we have the PS4 Spider-Man. We had live action moments with Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland in there as well. We also had Ronald Glover, who was the actual inspiration for Miles Morales being the live action Prowler, like he is in the MCU. We also have live action moments in the Venom-verse with the shopkeeper, I forgot her name, but she gets visited by the Spot, and she doesn't really seem fazed because she's always dealing with Venom. But there is so many different Spider people in this movie, and I did think there was going to be more. There is a couple of scenes where you do see Spider-Man Zero from Fortnite in there as well. I did notice that one, which I thought was really fucking cool, getting a Fortnite reference in a Spider-Verse movie. But again, the amount of Spider people that are in that Spider Society, there is too many to count. Some of them aren't even official Spider people. They're Spider Sodas made by the animators, or they're just random characters that have just been made up to fit in this world and to fill it out and flesh it out, which is really cool as well. But again, there is a lot of Spider people in this film, and you could spend days, even years, counting them all and sort of putting names to them. But the animation style is unique to each dimension, like we knew before watching this film, but it is still so cool to see it on screen. We also have some amazing voice actors. The music slaps like the first film. Miguel O'Hara's theme doesn't rival the Prowler's theme. I'm going to be honest, I much prefer the Prowler's theme than Miguel O'Hara's theme, but it's still there as one of the greatest theme songs, and it does still send shivers up my spine when I hear it on TikTok. Everyone's daddy is there. Everyone loves Miguel O'Hara. Not gonna lie, I don't really like Miguel. I don't like him. I don't think he's daddy. Everyone else does. My girlfriend thinks he's daddy. I'm more of a Hobie boy. I like Hobie. I think he's cool and badass. But I'm on Team Hobie compared to Team Miguel. Nah, fuck him. Hobie's my guy. Trying to think of other stuff to say. It's such a good film. There's a lot I want to say, and I'm just trying to order it out in my head, trying to order it out and get it all out, because there's just so much. This film is so action-packed. 2 hours and 30 minutes of content, and everything is pushed back by 20 minutes to sort of make it feel so much longer and so much more fleshed out and so much more filled. Because normally plot points are like at certain times. Spider-Verse pushed each plot point back like a couple of minutes so they could get in some extra content, and it felt like the film was a lot longer and a lot more fleshed out than if they just stuck to the normal plot points. And it felt like it took a while to get started, but I enjoyed the time that it took to get to the Spider-Verse or the Spider Society. We also, voice actors, incredible music, incredible animation is peak. This has pushed Into the Spider-Verse beyond its fucking limits. Into the Spider-Verse was incredible and groundbreaking animation styles. It had so insane visuals, and it was sort of best animated movie of the year. Back then, it's still one of the top 10 animated movies, but Puss in Boots, Mutant Mayhem, and Across the Spider-Verse have all shattered Into the Spider-Verse. They pushed it beyond its limits and took it in different directions. Across the Spider-Verse took it in the same direction but amplified it. Mutant Mayhem took it in a different direction, mixing them together throughout a full film, and then Puss in Boots sort of kept them separate, but they were still there, and they went in a completely different direction with it that I don't know how to explain. It's such a new, unique animation style that I don't know how to explain it. It's so unique and new and fresh, and it feels so good, and it just revives the animation community and the animation as a whole. So this film deserves an absolute 10 out of 10. It's a fucking masterpiece, and it is going to stay in my top 5 animated films with Puss in Boots, Into the Spider-Verse, and Mutant Mayhem. So other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this YouTube video. See you all on the next one. Have a nice day, and it's only a year to wait until Beyond the Spider-Verse, and I cannot wait. It is going to be so fucking good.